almost heaven.
We left off looking at color theory and talking about the color wheel. We've learned how to make our secondary colors, and we've learned how to use our complementary colors. But there's still more to color theory. So turn to a new page. Unless you still have room on this page, that's fine, but I'm going to need about a half a page. So I started a new page in my sketchbook. Any paper is fine. For my color theory. And I gave it a nice title again because I want you to treat it like an art journal. So color theory continued. Today, what we're going to learn about are tints, shades, and monochromatic color schemes. Let's start with tints. I want you guys to know that a tint is when we take a color. Let's take a little bit of color. I'm going to go with blue today. I'm going to take a little bit of color and I'm going to mix it or add it to a lot of white. And the reason I said a little bit and a lot is because white is very wimpy. White can be dominated by a color really quickly. Now, kids tend to get tint confused with tinted windows on a car. That's darker, right? That doesn't make sense. In art, a tint is when we take a big old can of white paint to the paint store and we say, can you tint this color so I have a nice light blue to paint on my wall or whatever. It's a little bit of color added to a lot of white. That's what a tint is. The opposite of a tint is a shade. And a shade is when we take a little bit of black. I'm going to color in my little paint blob here black so that we can remember without having to write all the words out. I'm going to take a little bit of black and I'm going to add that to a lot of color. And when you add a little bit of black to a lot of color, what you do is you make that color darker. So what does this mean? I've made a color lighter and I've made a color darker. That's the same thing as value, the darkness or lightness of a color. Tints and shades are different values of the same color. Let's go ahead and practice this for a second. Under tint and under shade, I want two little rows of boxes, just like we do for value scales, only now we're going to make a tinted scale and a shaded scale. For our tinted scale, we are trying to take the pure color and make it lighter. That's what a tint is. Now we are working with color pencils. If I were working with paint, I would have you have a puddle of white paint and you would be mixing a tiny bit of blue into that paint until you made different values of blue. But we're only working with color pencil. You can't add white to that, it's not going to do anything. So what we're going to do is actually work with the pressure of our pencil to create tints of blue. I have a nice, heavy, bright, vibrant blue right here. I am going to make a lighter version of blue. And we already know all you have to do to make a lighter version of blue is to not press as hard. And now I'm going to make an even lighter version, press lighter. The last box cannot be white. That is not a tint, that is just pure white. So I'm going to press really light. When you're done, this should look like a value scale. These two look the same to me. I'm going to fix it. I'm going to go back and darken those middle two until I have a nice, perfect, even scale of 4 tints of blue. Okay, I'm happy with that for my tinted scale. Now I need to make a shaded scale. What I'm going to do is just like we've been practicing the last 2 lessons, mixing my color pencils. And to mix color pencils, you have to layer one and then the other and then the other. My first box on the shaded scale is just going to be blue. I want to make sure it's a nice vibrant blue, so I went really heavy with it. And now I'm going to work on my shaded scale, so I want my blue to get darker each time. Blue is already a dark color. So with a dark color, it's easy to show tints. It's more difficult to show shades. The opposite is true. If I tried to make tints of yellow, really light color, it's kind of hard. But with shades, it would be very easy to show a dark to a light yellow because it's such a light color. So I'll do the best I can here to make 3 more shades of blue by mixing my black color pencil with it. Okay, so you see now we've got a tinted scale and a shaded scale. I almost lost it right there. Got a little too dark. Gotta be real careful. Once you go too dark, you can't get it back. But I managed to make it look like a 4-step scale. Next step to finish our color theory work about tints and shades, we're going to understand a new vocabulary word, and it is monochromatic. Go ahead and write monochromatic on your page because I want a definition. Monochromatic comes from the word chroma. We know that means color. And mono, if you didn't know, mono means one. So the idea of one color for a color scheme. How do you have a color scheme of just one color? You use the tints and shades. A monochromatic color scheme is a color scheme of only one color and all its values, all the dark and light versions of that color used to create a painting or a drawing. Go ahead and write that definition, please. A color scheme of only one color and its values. Once you're done with that, what we're going to do is do a little drawing to the side using a monochromatic color scheme. You may switch colors or you may stick with the colors, the color that you used for your tint and your shade. We are going to do a monochromatic landscape scene. What I want you to do is draw me some mountain ranges. You could look up on the internet a different idea. I'm fine with that. I've had kids do this assignment with cities and all kinds of stuff. I'm going to start with a wiggly line at the bottom to be my first mountain, the mountain that is closest to me. I'm also adding some bumps to this one so it kind of looks like there's some trees to make it more interesting. And because it's closer to me, I can see those kind of details like a tree on the mountain range. As a mountain gets farther and farther away, I can't see things like a tree on it anymore, so that doesn't make sense. So there's my first mountain, that's one. I'm going to add another wiggly line over here. Kind of make sure they're not just waves, because we're not drawing the ocean, we are drawing mountains. 1, 2 sections. Now I'm going to do another one. Try to create variety in your art. You don't want all the same mountain. So now I've got 1, 2, 3 sections. I'm going to do another range of mountains that kind of peeks out here, but it goes behind it, and then pops up again over here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here's another one I'm going to add in. I'm drawing too dark. You should be drawing lightly because we don't want a bunch of outlines. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is my last mountain range, and I'm done. I have 7 sections. Let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Because what I want from you is a pure color in the middle. I'm going to choose blue. And I want 3 tints above that. 1, 2, 3. The third one is your sky, and it should be the lightest tint you can possibly make. Here are my 3 tints right there. Easy. Sky, mountain, mountain, another mountain. Below my pure color, so back here, pure color, and then it's going to go darker. Oh, look. Darker and really dark. I'm going to take what I just did here and I'm going to apply it here in order. Before I move on, I am not going to have you write this down, but I want you to hear this word, atmospheric perspective. Atmospheric perspective is the idea that there is stuff in the air. Pollution, clouds, moisture. And if a mountain is closer to you, we can see it clearly. But a mountain that's far away, like, I don't know, Mount Diablo, I can't see all the details and I can't see the pure color. You'll notice that Mount Diablo looks really faded and far away and misty. That is done on paper as an artist using tints and shades, using your values. And that concept is atmospheric perspective. Oh, we know that word perspective from 1-point perspective. Same idea. How do you make something look far away? Well, atmosphere plays into it also. You can go ahead and watch me complete my drawing here and then begin your own. Feel free to look up ideas. I've put examples up on PowerSchool for you for things to kind of steal from as you're trying to draw your mountains in this little mini picture.
Almost heaven, West Virginia, Blue Ridge Mountains, Shenandoah River. Life is old there, older than the trees, younger than the mountains, blowing like a breeze. Country roads take me home to the place I belong. West Virginia, Mountain Mama, take me home. Country roads.
All my memories gather round her. Miner's lady, stranger to blue water. Dark and dusty, painted on the sky. Miss the taste of moonshine, teardrop in my eye.
Country roads.